All right, Alan, take it away.
Thank you. Well, today I think is a very special day because we're on day 6. And as we kind of start off on our 14 days, we're going through the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path. And that's really important for us as we, face just not the pandemic, but, all different types of situations in our lives. So day 6 starts us off in the discipline grouping or category of the Noble Eightfold Path, and we're going to be talking about right effort. So at the beginning, we had our first two, which were helping us understand the roots, the cause of suffering, dukkha, and that's basically the wisdom category. Then we went to the right, basically creating the right conditions, the conduct category. So now we're on the discipline category, which helps us keep on the Noble Eightfold Path towards Nibbana or Nirvana. And so right effort, the reason it's so important is because you made it to day 6. You're showing right effort that you want to continue on this path that the Buddha set forth. So that's why I feel this is a very important day, because you're making it. You're actually continuing to practice, and that's really great. So the scripture for today is, though one should live 100 years, lazy of little effort, yet better is life for a single day, strongly making effort. So that's really important as well too. So the Buddha is saying, like, as long as you just leave one day where you're really trying to show that, yes, I want to make effort towards reaching nirvana, that's great. We go through a lot of times where we're just, kind of just like zombies throughout the day. We're just not really mindful. We're not really showing any effort. Making effort is truly important on the Eightfold Path. So there's 4 types of right effort that we're going to talk about. The first two talk about unwholesome states. So number 1, prevent unwholesome states that have not yet arisen. And number 2 is end unwholesome states that have arisen. Then we're talking about wholesome states. So we want to develop wholesome states that have not yet arisen. And 4, strengthen wholesome states that have arisen. So basically, you kind of see what's going on there. You want to, not have unwholesome states, and you want to, bring up wholesome states. And if you have a wholesome state, keep that as well. So that's important because, as we kind of talked about in the beginning, we want to, mindfulness is a key component of what we're doing here. But Mara, kind of pops up. We got these 3 fires, 3 poisons. We want to basically, put those out. And the way we do that is through right effort. If you like want an analogy, just imagine like these 3 fires burning and you're a firefighter, right? And if the firefighter, like, well, I'm going to go take a break, well, that fire is just going to come back up again, right? You want the right effort to keep putting water, the Buddhist teachings, onto those 3 fires to put them out. So that's why right effort is so important. And it's time for, I would say today, a little reflection as well too. How much effort are you putting into the Buddhist path? Are you kind of following what he taught, what he was showing us? That's really important. Doing a daily practice like this is fantastic because we're going through the 5 remembrances. We're confronting our fears so we can transform them. We're doing meditation. We're doing these exercises to help us with mindfulness as we go out into the world. So what you'd like to start today as a new practice, if you've not already been doing it, start reading scriptures. If you can, start reading the Buddhist teachings, the Dharma or the Dhamma. And an easy way to do that, instead of just diving right into maybe scriptures, is read a book, by a favorite Buddhist author. So there's many out there. There's Bhikkhu Bodhi, there's Thich Nhat Hanh. There's plenty out there by actual Buddhist monastics that you can read that are going to help explain the Buddha's teachings to you. And that's a great way to make right effort as well. You're reading, you're understanding, you're gaining this Dharma, these teachings for yourselves. And then also, kind of as we're going through, are you, we talked about, the right conditions, that part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Are you being compassionate towards other people? Are you trying to protect life? So are we, during the pandemic, doing things we can to make sure we don't spread the virus and things like that. So kind of think about those, far as our daily practice today, but also moving forward. Ponte, do you have anything you want to add on this?
Thank you, Alan. Actually, at least in my experience, this has been a step in the Noble Eightfold Path that kind of never really gets us day in the spotlight because we're always focused on mindfulness and samadhi or have good behavior or you're going to go to hell or stuff like that, right? And I feel like this one just, never really gets its time. So today I just kind of want to maybe take a little extra couple minutes to really explain this. So this step in the Noble Eightfold Path is actually the beginning of cultivating samadhi, which sometimes translated as concentration. Samadhi, really what it is a wholesome state of mind. Sama literally means whole. So it's like literally wholesome, a wholesome state. And in order to be able to, have wholesomeness in our mind, even outside of meditation, this is required. So we don't want to be this is very popular, especially in Mahayana, a stone Buddha, right? So you're only at peace when you're sitting in meditation. Oh, that's good, but it's not very useful because you don't go to work in meditation pose, and you don't deal with your family members in the holidays in meditation pose. So if you want to be able to have samadhi in your everyday life, well, here's how you get it. First step, as Alan was saying, is prevention or guarding. The Pali word is samvara. So it's important because they asked the Buddha one time, how do you train your monks? What is the first thing that you teach them? And the Buddha said, guarding the senses. That's the same word that's used here as prevention, to guard yourself. That's the first training for the monks, right? That's why when you read the meditation suttas, the Buddha says, monk leaves town, he finds a quiet place under a tree or in a cave. So they're protecting themselves from distractions. So to the ability that we have to try to avoid those things which will trigger unwholesome states in our mind. If watching CNN and Fox News is going to upset the rest of your day, well, don't do it. Yeah, try to find your news somewhere else. If you know that one coworker by the water cooler always upsets you, get your water somewhere else. Take your water bottle so you don't have to see that person. So we have to try to avoid unwholesome states from arising in the mind. We can't do it all the time. That's why there's 3 more steps. But to the degree that we can, we have to try. We shouldn't feel like we're obligated to put ourselves in compromising situations that we know that we're not ready to handle yet. So this is not a way of completely avoiding problems. It's just that in the beginning, we're not at that level yet where we can handle these problems yet. So until we mature enough in our practice to where we can handle these problems in a skillful way, we need to avoid them to begin with. The second one is called in Pali is called pahana. Pahana means to remove or to eliminate. So here is where the Buddha teaches us to replace an unwholesome thought with a wholesome thought. So if you have an angry thought, you can practice loving kindness, right? Also, if the Buddha said, if you're scared, you can practice loving kindness. If you have some sort of like sensual thought that's bothering you, then you can practice the non-beautiful contemplation. So like meditate on the body, anatomical parts of the body, or do a body scan to kind of put things in perspective. Because, we usually judge beauty only by the skin deep, right? We don't really take everything into consideration, the whole view of what a person actually is. So that will kind of balance you off if you're just dealing with pure sensuality. So this is very important. This is something that we can do throughout the day from the moment we wake up to when we go to sleep. When we notice that there's an unwholesome state of mind, then we try to replace it with the wholesome state of mind. We shouldn't work on, trying to suppress it or deny it or entertain ourselves, which is what we do. We get on our phone or we listen to music or we watch TV like, oh, well, I don't want to deal with that unwholesome thought, so I'm just going to distract myself. And when we replace it usually with something that's not so wholesome, because whatever's on our phone is most of the time not that wholesome either. So the second step is really putting something useful in the mind, something skillful in the mind. So you can practice the 5 remembrances. That's perfect. That's the perfect time to use it. Anytime any unwholesome state arises in the mind, you reflect on these 5 things, right? That's the perfect opportunity. The next one, develop. Here's where we get the word for meditation, bhavana. Bhavana means to cultivate or to develop. This is literally the word for meditation in Buddhism. So here the Buddha wants us to practice the 7 factors of awakening, but to keep it simple today, we'll just leave it to the first one, which is mindfulness, being aware. In order to develop the mind, first we need to be aware of what's happening in the mind. Right? We need to be conscious of all of our thoughts and our speech and our actions. So in order to practice meditation, we have to practice sati, which is mindfulness. And again, here the Buddha says in everything that we do. In the Satipatthana Sutta, which is his main discourse on mindfulness, on attention, on 7 factors of awakening, the Buddha says, while walking, sitting, standing down, lying down, while eating or defecating, at all times, you have to practice awareness, right? So sometimes we think mindfulness is something that we do, again, with our legs crossed as a stone Buddha, but not really. Actually, the Buddha says all the time, completely mindful until the moment that you fall asleep. And the last one, strength, is anurakana, which means to keep it going, to maintain it, to repeat it. So we have to constantly cultivate the mind. If we're not cultivating the mind, then all of our hindrances, all of the taints, all of these contaminating thoughts and images and unwholesome states of mind are just going to keep fermenting, and they're just going to keep reproducing. So if we're not doing anything to clean the mind, and it's going to get dirty. Just like if you don't do anything to maintain your house, eventually it's just going to get dirty. So this is really, really important. This is the meditation in everyday life that I feel like it's not really emphasized that much. And, we don't really practice it that often. We think meditation, I'm going to sit down and, just do whatever I do and retreat from the world. And that's fine. We also need that. But if you cannot apply meditation to your daily life, I mean, it's just going to be like therapeutic, right? Like eating some chocolate, it feels good, or like taking a warm shower. Yeah, for that moment, you're fine. But eventually you have to come back to, the real world where it's full of problems. So it's really important for us to develop this. And practicing these 5 remembrances is a great way to keep yourself in a wholesome state of mind. Being mindful, like we've been practicing meditation, is also a great way. And all you really have to do now, which, as Alan said, it's very important about this day, on the effort level, is maintain the practice. That's usually the hardest one for everyone. In the beginning of any diet or New Year's resolution, or maybe this 14-day planner, maybe the first 2 or 3 days, you're like, yes, 5:30 a.m. or whatever time it is, I'm going to do it. Now today's the 6th day, you might be like, well, it's getting a little bit harder, but you're here. You're here. And if you're not here live, then at least you made it to number 6 video, no matter how much time it took you. So you're here. Recognize that you did something wholesome. We're very critical and we point out our shortcomings very easily, but we should also point out those things which we've been successful in, like maintaining a practice for 6 days, which is not an easy thing, because most people didn't even show up, right? They didn't even make it to day 1. So give yourself a pat on the back. Rejoice in your good actions, right? That's part of the reflections, that all we have is our actions. And for the last 6 days, you have been developing skillful actions in mind, speech, and body. So that's all. I know I kind of went a little bit on a tangent here today, but it's just because this part is so neglected. Unfortunately, it's not explained in detail, and it's just kind of like, okay, work hard and that's it. That's what they mean by right effort. But no. This is the meditation in everyday life. This is part of samadhi, and this is where the rubber meets the road. Can you develop wholesome states of mind every day, all the time, from the moment you wake up to when you go to sleep? So I believe it's time now for the meditation. So I've given you a couple options of how to practice breathing meditation, right? Just the first thing was just simply be aware that you're breathing the first day. The following day was to count the breath. Then we noted the breath. Then we focused on the movement, the rising and falling of our abdomen, our stomach. And Yesterday, we focused on the nose, feeling the breath coming in and out of the nose. So today, um, I would like to invite everyone to focus on the entire process of the breath, right? Just really, really, really feeling the entire breath since it comes into the nose and goes through your body, and then your lungs expand and your abdomen rises. Then the air starts coming out and it goes back out. Really focus on the entire body while you're breathing in and out. See the effects that the breath has on the entire body. So this is going to require you to kind of just open it up more. And if you can, try to avoid any conceptualizing of it, right? Try to avoid the noting and the counting. Although I gave you those tools earlier, just for today, just really try to focus on just watching or just feeling the breath throughout the entire body in its totality. So I'm going to ring the bell, and then we can practice this awareness of the breath. So now that your mind is calm, body is relaxed, you can bless yourself with your calm mind. By the power of these wholesome actions, may you be free from immature company, and may you always have good companions until you realize nirvana. All right. Alan, is there anything else?
Yeah, I just want to give a parting thought to everybody. As Monty knows, one of my favorite sutras is the Fire Sermon. I might recall it the Right Effort Sermon today. So the Buddha basically told his monks that all things are burning, and they're burning, because of our sense organs, like our eyes and ears and stuff like that. But we don't normally realize that, So we're really in this burning house, but we're not realizing we're in this burning house. I'm sure you've all seen that little cartoon, little guy going, "This is fine," and everything's burning around us, but we don't realize it. So you making the effort to continue your practice is really important, because you're building these skills, this awareness of the burning that we see all around us. And as we know, the cause of dukkha is this craving, it's clinging, towards things, and it's due to these three fires. So think about that. There's fires all around us. We're just not aware of it. The more you become aware of it, you're able to put out those fires like a firefighter, and then we can achieve nibbana or nirvana. So keep it up. You guys are doing great.
Also, since part of the practice that we're starting now is, getting to know some of the sutras, at the end of the planner, there's so many resources. Once you get to the end of all the 14-day practice, Alan has so many links and different information in there. So I invite you all to just kind of take a look at it and, go through one of those resources, any one of them, and just kind of, read it and get the book or follow the link. And, you don't have to go out of your way to look for sutras. There's plenty of information at the end of the planner. So it was nice to see everyone today. Keep up the right effort, and I'll see you tomorrow. May you be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.